My real name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I have a lot of YouTube and Facebook since 2012 and 2013 Facebook. And I've put up quite a few each day. So I'm going to go on with this. My real name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I have to go by the name of Peggy Ann Dempsey. I'm married to Childers. I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a dead twin, Peggy. Peggy was killed a week or maybe 2 weeks before I was put there, so it was planned for her to die and for me to be put there. And then Carl, the mother, they were born out of wedlock. So Carl, the other twin, I guess lived, from my understanding, about a month after birth, and his mother killed him. So anyway, the family covered it up, and there's a horrid upbringing and all of it. But the thing I want to say, I wrote about mind control murders. I didn't find out about my kidnapping until 1983 when I was in a political campaign, actually to replace a doctor, congressman I'd written about, Larry McDonald. He went down in the KAL, supposedly, that went down in the ocean August 31st of 83, and 260 plus people drowned. Now, he was in a medical malpractice book I wrote about mind control, and there were forensic pathologists at the hospital where Larry McDonald had always worked, and I believe some of his family did at Piedmont. But the pathologists were killed. They were Warren and Rosina Matthews, forensic pathologists at Piedmont Hospital. And they were murdered just outside their home in Terrell Mill Estates when it was new. This has been some years ago, probably maybe early 70s. But anyway, that was one of the cases that I wrote about in the book. They knew how deaths were made to appear of natural cause, and that's what I've been writing about. The Tesla files that were stolen in 1930, where you could create an illness or cure it, make death appear of natural cause, and make people appear to have committed suicide when it's murder by mind control. For instance, they can mass program people to come to a certain place, be there, and they can have a program shooter walk up and start shooting them and then turn the gun on himself, like the Virginia Tech is just an example. And you can go from there because there's been quite a few of them. The Columbine, Aurora, Colorado. He's not mentally ill. They're using the mental illness in guns, and what an easy way to start locking you up. Your guns didn't do it. The programming did, and that's what should be addressed, and not mental illness. That is the sickest thing. You don't treat mentally ill. Let me put it this way, you don't put people on mind control in a mental hospital and start feeding them drugs they're not mentally ill. They're programmed. You have to stop that. And the victims. But what I was going to say here, for some reason, I have my idea of it, and I put it up. The Parkland, Florida, when those shootings happened, because that one was done in patterns, really. And some of these can really be proven, these mind control murders, because mind control is not visible. And these were deliberately over time done in patterns. So I'll leave it there. The Parkland students probably meant well, but they didn't have all the information. They went out, and it would have done so much good if people, when I was telling about this and about my kidnapping, and that's one of the reasons they won't tell it, because it's such a horror story of what was done to me and my children, my parents, and to my country. And by the way, my mom was born in Madison, Wisconsin, so she was an American school teacher, sister to artist George O'Keeffe. Now, this is what I wanted to get to, plain and simple here. The students and all the press has gone after gun control, which is the That's exactly what the global government wants, to take the guns. But what they've done is, I've seen what people could have done and stopped all this. The media won't tell you, and they've certainly known about my kidnapping, about mind control murders, from back before I was telling it. King Ferdinand, that was a program shooter that killed him and his wife Sophie. And then you get Tsar Nicholas and the murders of the Romanov family. And that was Anastasia that was here in Charlottesville. That's close to Roanoke, where I am. And that was her. And a lot of good DNA helps in it. Well, I'm going to stop there. I've already put it up. But anyway, now then, it has to be addressed, the mind control, use of mind control, if you're ever going to stop anything, because they mass control, mind control armies for a long time back. This has been going on. It's a way to take down planes, and when the pilot can veer into the mountain and the plane's gone and the people on it, or he can veer into Russian airspace or somebody else's because he's programmed to, and he doesn't even know it. And they shoot him down, like the Russian MiG shot down the pilot that had Larry McDonald, supposedly Larry McDonald, and that's 260 people on board, August 31st of 83. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia by a program shooter, and his attorney was killed, and the judge was pretty bad shot and hurt. But anyway, there's a lot of them, a list, and of mind control murders. Now then, here at this, the end of this video, is what I'm going to say. It's not just the guns. If you're going to take the guns away, it's still not going to stop the use of mind control as a murder weapon. You can do mass people. You can even have mass people meet in a spot and pull out their knives and start going at each other or somebody else. Or you can have people run off in the river and drown. It's unlimited is what I'm saying. Mind control murder, use to murder is limited, and then you can create illnesses or cure them, like cancer, like Robin Williams was made to appear that he killed himself. He was killed by mind control. He was a puppet. Now, you've got the idea, and I'm going to leave it here. You can put all the teachers you want to in school and arm them. They can be programmed to turn on each other, or themselves, they would shoot the students. Just like a flight marshal is put on a plane to protect you, he can come out shooting. Or the pilot can, or fly the plane in the ocean or side of the mountain. And, you use your imagination. It's unlimited what can be done with it, or create a heart attack. When they have a chip in someone, and they usually put it in a root canal, that's a good place, the place they put it. They can control your thought process. They don't have to kill you. They can maybe use it on the head of a corporation, which I have put up here. I work for the corporation, and just prior I had worked for the doctors who were cardiovascular. One of them was that actually put it in a heart bypass. This is back when I was doing the book in 77, 78. So it's unlimited what it can do. Until you address that, it's not going to stop. You're just helping out the global government that's in place, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers. Joe Kennedy he was JFK's father. He was appointed ambassador to England, 36 till they kicked him out in 46, by Roosevelt, another Jew that took down my father, Edward VIII, and kidnapped me in 41. My own uncle, illegal George VI, helped do it, and he became a legal monarch along with his lineage there that's war criminals, Elizabeth, and that whole bunch of hoodlums. So I guess that's all I'm going to say. My father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, and school teacher from Madison, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Beautiful lady. And they remained married, and they were both alive in October the 20th of 86 when I came to Roanoke, Virginia. The double that became the Duke of Windsor, illegal title, and married Wallace Simpson, died in 1972. And they had no children, and he was illegal anyway. This is a sick joke. Look what they've gotten away with. Even Cosmos Lang was Archbishop of Canterbury in 36. He certainly knew that my mother and father were alive. My father was king. He wouldn't go along with the Illuminati and take orders. So this is the price he paid, and then had his daughter and his grandchildren put through hell here in this country. So that's where it's at. Until you address that, you can take all the guns away you want. It's not going to stop a thing except take your power away. That's all I have to say. And I didn't get any thanks for doing all this and spending my money. In fact, people actually hate me.